Hey everybody, welcome to Live Coding with Jesse. I'm Jesse, and today I'm probably not going to accomplish what I've set out to accomplish because I don't even know if this is going to work. I've never done it before. I've never even heard of anybody doing it before, and I haven't found an example of someone else doing it. So I look at today as an adventure. So we're going to try some stuff out. I'm going to do my best to explain and make this, even if we fail, I'm going to try to make it somewhat useful to you all in terms of, some of the stuff that we do hopefully will be applicable to your work. I'm probably only going to do one Pomodoro session of code today because I have a meeting and I got to get some data ready for my meeting. So I want to make sure I can answer all your questions. So maybe I'll do one Pomodoro session and then we'll spend the rest of the time answering questions. And that should give me enough time to answer everything. So we'll see how much code we can actually squeeze in. I have a lot of comments already in the chat, which is awesome. So let me just take maybe just a minute, no longer, just to say hi and welcome any new people. Right? So looks like, hey Max. I'm not gonna read all the hellos out. I'm just gonna check. I do read all of these, so I'm not missing anybody, but there's a lot. So I'm gonna skip over a bit here. All right, awesome. Okay, cool. I did have somebody ask how I am. So I'm doing pretty well. If you've been with the stream for a while, you know I'm still recovering from wrist surgery. My wrist actually hurts a lot today, so it's not that bad that I think it'll really affect my typing. So I think we'll be fine. And this may end up being my only stream this week because I'm going to go to the React Rally conference in Salt Lake City, and then I'm going to go straight from there to New York City to go to the freeCodeCamp top contributor event that they're having out there. So if anybody is in any of those areas and wants to hang out or something, please let me know. But I'll try to give updates of what's going on Instagram and Twitter and stuff. So I'm not sure if I can get a live stream in or anything when I'm there. Depends on the internet. But if you follow me on those social media platforms, then at least I'll still be around. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. Okay. Looks like I'm getting... Alright, what's going on here? Somebody says check the voice. Can everybody hear me? My mic is showing that it's working, or my my OBS screen is showing it's working. Let me know. Also, someone's saying about the videos loading. Okay, so I'm not sure what's up with that. Let me know if y'all can hear me and can see me. I'm going to go into the code now. So I see there's a lot of questions in there. After I do some code for about 25 minutes, I'm going to come back and answer all your questions. Okay, so just hang in there. Let's switch over so you can see the screen. Okay, so here's some of the code. I have made some updates, and I'll explain more. We're kind of going in a different direction with the homepage layout, so I can explain that later on if you want. And you can also check out what I've done if you look at the commit log on the GitHub repo. The link to that's in the description to this video. Okay, so today we'll mostly be working in this server.js file because we're going to be dealing with the Salesforce API. So I'm going to bring over some stuff onto this screen. Let me start my Pomodoro timer. Okay. I'm going to pull over some of the stuff that I've been looking at so y'all can check it out, and I will paste the links into the live chat as well. So I came across this on GitHub, and this repo, I know y'all probably can't see it. I'm gonna zoom in here. Actually, let's put these together and make them a lot bigger here so it's easier for everybody to see. Okay, so I came across this repo. It looks like a really old repo, but it has been updated recently. A lot of the files have been updated, so I'm assuming that it still works. We'll find out. But this is going to allow us to more easily connect to the Salesforce API. Okay. So here's the documentation for that. And right now I'm looking at how to connect, right? And so let's go back to our getting started, because we're going to start right at the beginning. Okay, we can install this just with npm. We're going to use Yarn because we've been using Yarn, and I'll need to do a little bit on another screen because I need to put in my credentials. So that's about the only thing you won't be able to see. Everything else I'll try to do here. All right, so first let's install JSForce. And my goal now in this session is just to get a connection, see if we can connect. Okay. Where's our code? Whoops. All right, let's pull this over. Okay. So I'm going to do a yarn. Let me make this bigger. I'll go one more size larger here. All right, so here's my terminal. I'm going to say yarn. You know what? Let's do this on a separate branch because I don't want to mess anything up in the server file. So let's create a, let's do git checkout. And we're going to put a B flag on there. And then we're going to say, what are we going to call this? Let's say, we'll call it Salesforce. Okay, so I like to do git checkout with a B flag, because if I try to do a git branch, create the branch, and then checkout, I often forget to actually check out the branch. So we're going to do this in a branch. If you're using Git to do version control, if you're going to put a new feature in, especially if it's either like a major feature or you think you might be like break something while you're doing it, you generally want to do it on a separate branch. If you're committing to someone else's project, you for sure want to do it on another branch. So this will allow us to feel free to break things, do anything we want, and we can always switch back to the master branch and make updates and push that up to, in this case, the site's not live yet, but we do have a development site that's out there. So I definitely recommend doing that. So now that we have it on this branch, now we can do a yarn add JSForce. I'm going to double check that name. JSForce. Yep, that's it. Alright, so that shouldn't take too long. And while that's going, we can see how we're going to bring this in. So there is a way to do this in browser, but I'm not going to do that. We have Node running. We're going to use Node. We're going to send data from the backend. The goal of this is to be able to send data straight from our React application, from a form on our React application, straight into Salesforce. Right now, we are sending people, prospective students, if they want to inquire about to get more information about our university, they have to click a link. They're directed to another site that has a form on it. It would be a lot more convenient if they never had to leave our site or even click away from a page. If we just had the form right there on the home page, as you scroll down, you'll eventually see it, and you could put in some info. I think we'll get a much higher conversion rate, let's say, on our inquiry form. Okay. All right, great. That's there. That's in there now. So let me make some space here for our server.js. Our server.js file is quite crowded right now, so eventually, if we get this to work, we'll probably move it to its own separate file. But for now, I'm just going to do it here just to save some time. Okay. So let's copy some of this stuff and paste it up here. and I'm going to change these vars to const. Okay, generally when you're using ES6, right, or they call it ES 2015, it's a newer version of JavaScript, some additions to it. When you're using that, you want to use const or let in place of var. If you're not sure why and you want to know, you can ask me after this Pomodoro session's over. I'll be happy to explain like why you would use one or the other. But there's really no need to use var anymore. Okay, could not find declaration file or module for JS Force. Let's double check and make sure that this works. I thought it did. Whoa, maybe it didn't. Okay, let's see. Alright, got a lot of stuff not working here. Maybe this isn't gonna work. Let's check the GitHub repo again, and we'll go to issues and see what's happening. 195 issues is actually a lot. Maybe this is not really being maintained anymore. Okay. I mean, based on the issues that people are posting here, they've obviously got it to install. Okay. Let's go back here. I wonder if you have to have a certain version of Node. So I'm going to double check. I don't remember seeing anything about that. Okay, let's check releases. See if there's any info there. Alright. Alright, they just came out with a new release 19 days ago. Alright, let's just gonna run yarn again. Alright, everything's up to date. That's weird. Why can't we find JS Force? I don't really want to open up my node modules. I'm just gonna run this one more time. It probably won't work, but you never know. Like, it does happen that you just try the same thing again and now it works. So we'll give it another go. Okay, didn't get all these. I did not get all these errors this time. And declaration file just was. Alright. I'm just going to let that go for now. Because I don't think it's going to matter. So let's move on then. It's good to know that they have had a recent release though. I do want to check my time. Alright, about 15 minutes. Okay, now that we've gone through the installation, let's go to document. Let's go here and look at how we connect. So I'm just going to copy and paste this part. This seems like it's the simplest way to connect. So we'll try this first. There's a lot of other stuff about ways to connect. I'm not worried about it right now. Okay. So we definitely need okay. So it looks like all we need to put in here yeah, all we need to put in here is a login URL, a username, and a password. Okay, cool. So I can just put the login URL right in here, and that's not going to be a problem. The username and password I'm going to save as environment variables and then pull them in, and so I don't show my my password to everybody. Okay, so first things first, and this will be easy. What is this? Extra spec. Let's get that login URL. So here's Salesforce. Let's see, test.salesforce.com. All right. I'm not even sure where. Let's see where this is. Log out. This should take me. Yep, there we are. So I believe this would be the login URL. And then for username and password, I am going to open up the environment variable file on another screen. So I'm gonna pull this over to my other screen and okay. It'll just take me a second to navigate there. It's not letting me open this. Let's see. Alright, I wonder if I can. Do I not have a .env? That's so weird. I thought I had one. That's so weird. Okay, then I guess I will try to make one. Okay, hold on a second. For some reason, Visual Studio Code does not want to let me open this project twice. Alright. Let's make an mfile and I will drag it over to my other window. There we are. Okay. Now we'll go back here, close this here, and I'll say okay. So on my other screen, I'm going to go to LastPass and find my username and password. And my username. Okay. All right, and I should be able to bring these in the same way that these are being brought in. So let's just copy this, save a little bit of time here. And let's make this username. And I called this username. And then we'll copy and paste this and change it to password. Okay. All right, so let's see what we're doing. All right, so what we're looking for, hopefully, is that we will get some stuff logged to the console. Okay. Also, we should probably check to make sure we haven't crashed anything. So, alright, it looks like nothing is crashed on the site, so that's good. We can check. Yeah. Okay. Now, you know what? Let's quit that and let's do a yarn. Oops. Let's say. Sorry, I gotta check out. Actually, let's just run this like this. Let's do node server.js. We're not getting anything in our console. You know what? Let's check our documentation. This. All right, about 5 more minutes, I'll get to your questions. So I see there's a ton of stuff in the live chat, so I'm gonna get to everything. All right. Well, let's see. Let's assume that we've made some sort of connection, and let's go down and see if we can make a query now. Trying to find one that would work with what data we have. I also don't want to get any data that I should not be showing on YouTube. Oh, how about let's just try to create something, and then I don't have to actually show anything. All right, let's try this. I'm not sure if I need to put this inside of here or not. We'll try it inside first. Alright, yeah, let's just show this as is. Why is it saying this? Oh, indentation. Okay. I want to see. I'm going to make sure I'm just going to go through kind of each step just to make sure things are getting picked up correctly. You know what? I'm not automatically restarting the server now since I just did this. Okay. All right, so we're getting undefined here. And now we're getting invalid username, password, security token. Okay. All right, that makes sense. Why it's not working. All right, so what's up with this then? I don't know what I did. All right, you know what? Let me move this over to my other screen just quickly, and I'm gonna hard code those values directly into the file. I need to do it on my other screen, obviously, because I can't have anybody seeing that. But I just want to make sure, you know, what the real problem is here. I mean, if we've done all the Salesforce stuff correctly, and it's just something weird going on with the .m file, then I want to know so I don't spend my time trying to troubleshoot the wrong thing. So my 25-minute timer just ended, so this will be the last thing that I try. Okay. I'm going to save that, and let's restart the server, see what happened. Oh, user must use security token. Okay. All right. So I need to get a security token from Salesforce and then add that to my password. Okay. What do y'all think? Let me know. Should we try that? Just see if we can get it to work, or should I stop now and go to the questions? Reset my security token. Oh, I sent one to my email address. Okay. So I just reset the security token and they are emailing it to me. If it doesn't come in my email like immediately, I'll just try this a different day. Ooh, nice. It just got here. Okay. And add it to my password. So I'm assuming I can just paste this right at the end of my password. So that's what I'm going to do. All right, we'll give this one more try. What? I'm pretty sure this just worked. So we created these records. Nice. I wonder if I can now search for these records by ID. So let me go in. I'm logged into Salesforce on my other screen. I'm going to see if I can search for a record. Let's see. I don't know what they have it under. Normally it's leads, but I'm not sure if they use that terminology. So it looks like it worked. I'm just not entirely sure where where it saved this to. So maybe. So normally in Salesforce you'd use it for a business, and then there would be you would call them leads, but we usually do students. So I wonder if this got saved as a student. So sorry I can't show you all this. I don't want to accidentally show you student information. So I'm just trying to do my best to describe what I'm doing on my other screen. If I get to a point where I can show you, I will definitely do that. Let me see. Let's see if I can search students. Record ID. Yes. Alright, so I don't think it's that. So what I'll probably need to do is I'll need to do a little bit more reading to see like where by default does this stuff show up, since I'm not seeing it. Oh, wait a second. I found it. Alright, cool. Now I have something I can actually show you. Let me move this over here. Okay, so check this out. So evidently it by default goes to schools, and it it made these schools. Okay, so I'll have to figure out how to put it in the right spot. Ideally, we'd want these to go into students, right? But this works for now. So you could see we gave it the name of my account 1 and my account 2. And so obviously it didn't fill in these things, right? Because we didn't tell it to fill these in. But you can see by the owner alias, it's me. Just the first part of my name, JWEIG, okay? So awesome, that worked. We were able to connect, and we could see, like, here's the ID, right? Why do you have a server here? Cool. Really cool. All right, awesome. So now I'm gonna go to, I guess I'll just, let me switch it up here. And now I'm going to go back to the chat. I'm going to start way up at the top, and I'm just going to work my way down here. So I'm going to try to get to all of the questions. I think this was definitely a success in terms of, we were actually able to add a record. That's awesome. Now it's just a matter of figuring out the details of being able to add it as a student and get the right, match up the right values. So I'm feeling really, really happy about that, and I can't believe it only took me like less than an hour. For people who have watched this stream before, this is a rare occurrence that everything goes like how I wanted it to go, and quickly. Okay. Steven says, Jesse, thanks for looking at the landmark site. That floor plan pop-up build was a huge speed boost for us build-wise. Oh, awesome. Yeah, that site was amazing. So it was really cool. I'm really glad you shared it with me. Let's see. Nikki says, just dropping by to say hi. Hey, how's it going? Sorry you can't stick around, but thanks for dropping by. Nagendra asks for an Angular project. I don't know Angular, so I can't really do an Angular project, but we do have some videos of people doing Angular projects. I don't think they're live streams, but check the video list for FreeCodeCamp. Maybe do a search for Angular. I know we've had some people do Angular before. Let's see. Somebody asked what am I gonna do? I'm not going to answer that because obviously you saw what I was going to do. So, Microscript says hi from Turkey. Hey, how's it going? Thanks for watching. Luis says hi, hello from Guadalajara, Mexico. Awesome. Love when with people from all over the world. John Doe says bonjour from France. OTSM says 81 says hello from a noob from Colorado. How's it going? I'm a noob from Ohio, originally from West Virginia. Let's see. M. Alvey says you're looking awesome, superb. Thank you, I appreciate that. Not sure if you're talking about my code or my face, but either way, I appreciate it. Somebody commented on one of my recent videos, I think on my last video, something like, ReactJS is so ugly. And I thought, ReactJS is probably not ugly, it's probably just my code, right? I'm sure there are people out there that can make it look pretty. Alright, Dash says, what about Vue.js? I don't know Vue. It would be cool one day to try Vue out, but for right now, my projects are done in React, and it would have to be a side project. It doesn't make sense for me to do one project in Vue for work when everything we're creating is all React, so we can reuse components and things. So, but I'm open to doing a side project with Vue, but it would have to be something really basic because I've never used it before. We do have some videos about Vue, so. Again, if you go to FreeCodeCamp videos, do a search for Vue, you'll find some Vue tutorial videos and things. John Cortez says, I'm new to coding. I may not get what you'll be talking about, but I'm here to learn as I'm changing my career to become a coder. Awesome, awesome! Congratulations on the career change, and yeah, feel free to ask any questions. If I'm kind of skipping by things too fast, just ask me. I'm more than happy to explain anything. Murillo says, is it worth it to learn about Canvas? It depends on what you want to do. I mean, there are some instances where Canvas is the right thing to use. But like, I personally never use Canvas. I've never come across a use case where Canvas made sense for me to use. So, and I've been a developer for like over 5 years now. So I would say don't just learn Canvas if you don't have to use it. That would be my advice. If you come, like, learn what Canvas is and what it's good for, and then leave it at that. So then that way, if you ever have a situation where Canvas would be good, at least you'll know that you should use Canvas, and then at that point, you can learn more about Canvas. I mean, if you have a lot of free time and you really just want to learn Canvas, go ahead. But I don't think it's necessary. All right, John Cortez says, "Is coding bootcamp worth it?" It can be. So it kind of depends on what kind of learner you are. For me, I was always working and learning at the same time. I never had a period of time where I could dedicate all my time to a coding bootcamp. So when I shifted my career into being a developer, I already had a wife and kids and a mortgage payment, and I couldn't full time learn. I just learned what I needed to do to get the job done for my clients. So a boot camp was kind of out of the question for me, at least like an intense boot camp. So I did more like online courses, a lot of free stuff, a lot of just learning on my own. But some people, they thrive in that boot camp setting and they learn a lot quickly. So you have to know yourself there. Also, not all boot camps are the same. Some boot camps aren't really that good. So you gotta do your research and figure out, like, do you have the time for the boot camp, the money for the boot camp? Is that your learning style? And then is that particular boot camp good? So it's not really a question that I could answer in general. Ash says, sorry, I might be mispronouncing that. Says, teach us how to code using mobile, please. We did do some streams using React Native to code things for Android and iOS. I'd love to get back to that at some point. I just need to get this project launched. I'm going to be honest with you. This is going to be, even once we launch this, it's not going to be finished. There's always going to be more things to do and to update. But I would love to shift it so that our main project moves to something else for this stream, potentially maybe a React Native project. And then I do a lot of the work for this project right now kind of off the stream. And I only come back to it when we're going to add like some cool feature that I think y'all will be interested in. M. Alvi says, how much do you code in 24 hours? Oh, it just depends. It depends on the 24 hours. So there have been times when I've worked for like 14 hours. Like if I have to launch a project and there's a lot of stuff to do, sometimes I've coded for that long before. That's pretty extreme. And obviously there are some 24-hour periods where I don't code at all. But I'm trying to get an average. I don't know, maybe like an average would be for like 5 hours a day or something. I don't know, because I don't spend all day coding. I answer emails, I do paperwork, I go to meetings. So it kind of depends. MLB asked about the GitHub Dark theme. Yeah, if you just type in GitHub Dark theme on Google, it'll be the first thing that'll come up. Just follow the instructions, and yeah, it's not difficult. I think there's several options for getting it to work too. Also asks, we wanted to know more about yourself. Let me know, what specifically do you want to know? I mean, I can tell you a lot about myself, but if there's anything in particular, let me know, and then I'll answer that once I get down to the bottom there. MLB says, what's your skills, front end or back end? So my title is front end developer, but realistically, I'm more like full stack now. To be honest, I probably do more front end than back end, but we don't have somebody that's a back end. So like Node stuff is back end stuff, right? I do that. I set up servers, right? I set up Linux servers. I do the maintenance on those servers. I set up databases, right? So all that stuff I do as well. So I'm definitely not purely front end. It just worked out that that's the title that I had, because at the time I was mostly doing front end stuff. So all right, let's go with front end. John Cortez asked about my application for coding, and I was using Visual Studio Code. MLB says, does anyone have a Slack workspace for coding help? I don't know. Do we have a Slack channel? I'm not sure. We've had some channels like chat room things, and but they're not really that active. But if anybody knows of some sort of like Slack channel for coding help, please let Alvy know. Let's see. John Cortez says, is what Jesse is doing now something that can be learned within that 3-month boot camp? Maybe. It depends. So Michael had a good answer. It says, if you're starting from zero JavaScript knowledge, it might take a while to build up. If you have knowledge in JavaScript, you should be able to pick it up. So, yeah, I totally agree with that answer. Yeah, if you're starting from zero, it's going to be hard to get here in 3 months. I'm not saying what I'm doing is spectacular or anything, but it takes time, to get to there. So yeah, but if you're already good with JavaScript and it's just a matter of learning how to do things with React, yeah, 3 months is definitely reasonable. And it's hard to say. Sometimes it depends on the person. If you're like a genius, who knows what you could do. So John says, John Cortez says, should I concentrate on learning HTML and JavaScript? Yeah, for sure. Start out. If you go to the FreeCodeCamp curriculum, so if you go to freeCodeCamp.org and you start the curriculum, that's a good place to start. Go through, it'll teach you about HTML, CSS, and then it'll get you into JavaScript, and it'll ease you in, so you get, that knowledge builds, and then you work your way up into more difficult things. You'll learn a little React. So that's kind of a good path to go. And then you can supplement your learning with other materials. Michael said, this seems like it should be factored out. Yo, yeah, for sure. I think it should be too. All right, M4T says, what is that program that you use? I'm assuming you're talking about Visual Studio Code. Okay. All right. Michael asked, what's the graphic on my mug? Okay, so here's my mug. So this is, it says Fatherhood, the best job you'll ever love. Okay, so, and then on the back here it has St. Joseph holding baby Jesus and Mary taking a nap in the background. So I don't remember who got me this mug, but I work at a Catholic university, so it's definitely appropriate. I think I got this like when I first became a father. So my oldest is 9 years old. So I've had it for a while here. But in case you don't know, I have 4 children. Uh, Jainam, it's Jainam. Please let me know if I'm pronouncing that wrong. I want to get it right. But anyway, it says, what is the Salesforce API? The Salesforce API is just a way to get data from Salesforce and put data into Salesforce by making API calls, right? So you make like an HTTP request and you can use the API. Let me know if I need to explain that a little bit more. So it may not, depending on your level of understanding right now, I may need to explain a little bit more. So I'm happy to do that if you need me to. Kendo says hello from Japan. Hey, how's it going? You know, I rarely get viewers from Japan, so that's really awesome. Thanks for letting me know. Musadik says, what is CodeIgniter Framework Developer? CodeIgniter is, I believe CodeIgniter is PHP. I think it's a PHP kind of like framework or something. So from what I understand, it's kind of old, but I haven't used it. A colleague of mine has used it before, and that's the only. I just remember him talking about it. Ivan says, hi, can you show how to hide and show content text in HTML with buttons? Thanks in advance. Congrats from Bulgaria. Well, hi and welcome. If you want to show and hide text in HTML with buttons, you could. It depends on what you want to do, right? You could use just overall, like you would want to use JavaScript to tell when that button gets clicked, and then when that button gets clicked, you could change the CSS of that button to use, to show or hide. So it would be like display none or display block. You could toggle that. If you were using, and you could use jQuery for that. You could use vanilla JavaScript. If you were using React, you would want to change the state on a button click. And then you could just render it based on like if the state for this equals true, render it, otherwise don't render it, right? So there's different ways you could do it. It kind of depends on what you want to use. So I mean that's kind of a big overview for that. If you want to know like specifically what code you would type, your best bet is probably like just doing check and Stack Overflow or something. Because it does kind of depend on what you want to use. Steven says, every feature you do is cool. Hashtag hype. Thank you. I appreciate that. Bogdan says, hi, can I become in 6 months a junior developer? Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, obviously it depends on how much you know now and how quickly you can learn things, but I think it's definitely possible in 6 months. Michael says, I didn't realize you set up servers too. You really need to get a title change. Yeah, yeah. I guess I should. I hasn't. I don't even remember when I got this title, to be honest with you. So maybe it has been a while. Maybe I should try to get a change. We'll see. Maybe I'll wait until they give me like employees to work under me, and then I'll go for the title change. Microscript says, I know how to learn programming, but I don't know what to do. I need an idea. Also, I'm too used to Visual Studio Code. This program perfect in Atom or Sublime? I'm not sure what you're asking. You're saying you don't know what to do. You need an idea. So, are you saying you don't really have an idea of what to build or what to make? If you just Google like app ideas, there are websites out there that give you a ton of like ideas of things to build. So those will give you some ideas. Also, I do like Visual Studio Code. I never used Sublime. I did use Atom, and I switched to Visual Studio Code. I think Visual Studio Code is a bit faster than Atom, but Atom is still good. I used it for years, so I think either one would be a good choice. I happen to prefer Visual Studio Code at the moment. Oh, Michael has confirmed that CodeIgniter is PHP based. Okay, so Ivan says yes to do the ShowHide thing in JavaScript. Um, yeah, if you wanted to do it in just plain vanilla JavaScript, no jQuery, no React, anything like that, then you're going to be using, I guess off the top of my head, like you're going to be selecting elements with document.getElement by ID. You want to grab the IDs, and then I'm trying what the click is. So you would need to get like a click handler, right? If I'm assuming you're going to click the buttons, and then like depending, I'm trying to think. I can't remember what is vanilla JavaScript way for changing CSS, but that's how you would do it. You would use JavaScript to change the CSS. Potentially you could completely add or remove those elements from the page, but I don't know that I would go to all that. I would probably just use DisplayNone, or like Michael says, you could do visibility hidden too if you want. That would also work. The only thing about visibility hidden is if your text takes up space and you do visibility hidden, like that space will still be there. You just won't see the text. If you don't want that space there, then you want to do DisplayNone, because it'll totally take away any space that it'll take up. Correct me if I'm wrong about that, but I believe that's how that functions. Gia says, is this project nearly finished? How long do you think it's going to take? I hope we're nearly finished. We're very, very close to being able to launch. I'm talking like within a matter of weeks we can launch for sure. Maybe sooner. I just have other stuff going on that I can't launch it. So if I had all my time to dedicate to it, we could probably have it launched next week. But I don't. Yeah, so in terms of launch, pretty soon. In terms of finished, it's never going to be finished. This is going to be the thing that I'm constantly working on and updating. This is just like, this project is basically going to be a big part of my job now. From here on out, I'm constantly going to be updating it. Kendo says, what are you using for SEO for React? Should I be using something like Next.js? Yeah, if you need to worry about SEO, which is search engine optimization, I definitely recommend using something like Next.js. It doesn't have to be. You just need to server-side render your code. Otherwise, search engines are not going to be able to pick up any of the stuff that you're trying to pull in from an API. So the API calls usually take too long if you're trying to do them client side, and the search engines won't stick around long enough to actually see that data come in. So you want a server side render so that when someone first goes to your site, they get just regular HTML, all the content's there. And then when they start clicking around and it's client side routing happening, then that's cool. You can do stuff on client side. So I personally like doing both. It's kind of like best of both worlds. You get that speed of client side routing, but you also get that really quick initial load that's search engine friendly. So Next.js takes care of a lot of the background stuff of making that happen for you. So I do like using Next.js for that. Michael says, how do you get free CodeCamp projects on GitHub? You just have to, make a GitHub account and create a new repo, and then do your project. So I'm not sure how familiar you are with Git and GitHub. So you might need to maybe do a course or read up on that first. Sorry. A big yawn. I always yawn during the streams. Today hasn't been too bad. I've been fighting, holding back the yawns. Tushar says, can you recommend some projects for intermediate programmers in PHP? I don't really know. I would recommend, again, like just Googling project ideas, like PHP project ideas, because there are a lot of them out there, and you probably get a nice big list and just pick the ones that you like. Oh, Michael Creel says on click. So Michael Creel says create a CSS class to do the .add class on click. Cool. Thanks, Michael. That's straightforward enough, right? Emre, it's EMRE, so I'm not sure how to pronounce that. It says, I've coding experience for 2 years, and I know C and C++. So how much time to learn JavaScript, CSS, and HTML? And I'm from Turkey. Well, hello. This is the second person that said they're from Turkey, so welcome. Yeah. If you already know C and C++, I don't think it's going to be that difficult to pick up a new language because you already have all those programming concepts down, right? Your basic things are like arrays, loops, like the concepts of what is a variable, like all those things that seem really easy once you pick them up. To a total beginner, it's difficult to to wrap your mind around that. So you're already starting at an advantage. So I can't really say it'll take this long because it just depends. Like, how many hours a day do you have? How quick can you pick things up? Like, there's just a lot of factors. But I think you'll have a much easier time than someone else who doesn't know about programming. Machine says, is there some tool to transpile jQuery into plain old JavaScript so your clients don't have to download an extra file? I don't really know. That would kind of be a pretty useful tool, though. But I've never heard of anything like that existing. I don't see why it couldn't, though. I mean, if we can transpile, newer versions of JavaScript back to ES5, I guess they could do the same thing for jQuery, but to my knowledge, it doesn't exist. I've never heard of it. John Cortez says, thanks for answering my questions. Looking forward to watching more of your videos. Aloha and mahalo from Los Angeles. Cool. I'm so glad that I could be of some service to you. And yeah, definitely. I hope you can join again for some live and more live chats and stuff. And yeah, feel free to keep asking questions. And let's see. Dante says, I am Dan from Kenya. Enjoying the live feed. Really learned a lot. How can I improve my React skills? Really just practice, right? I mean, it doesn't hurt to read up on documentation and like watch tutorials and things, but the thing that's going to help you to get better, the quickest route is just keep building. Try every day if you can, to just build a little bit, work with it, and then, you know, as like the little things in React and the syntax, the way to do things become like natural, and you just have it in your mind all the time, then it'll free up that brain power to start thinking like higher level of, I'm going to do more advanced things, right? And you'll start to build up on that, and you'll get better like that. Michael says, after a year of watching you, I think I finally started to feel like I know what I'm talking about. Maybe sooner or later I'll actually apply for a job. Well, I'm glad that I could help in that way. Yeah, and go for it. Go for a job. You know, to get a job in coding, all you need to do is convince somebody that you can do it, right? That, you know, and then you're ready, and you're always going to learn on the job. And anybody that's hiring a developer that knows what they're doing will know that they're not hiring you because of what you already know. They're going to hire you because of what you're going to continue to learn, because things just change too fast, right? Even if you find somebody that knows everything that you want them to know, in a couple months, it's going to be outdated already. So that's the key. So don't worry if you don't know everything yet. As long as you can prove that you know what you're doing and that you can learn quickly, that's what people want, or at least that's what they should want if they know what they're doing. Dante says, plus, how much do I need to have in my portfolio to get at least a junior front-end position? I don't know if there's really, you know, a number, but, you know, I would say, you know, have a few projects. So it's better to have maybe like 3 good projects that you've actually finished and built than, you know, like a dozen projects that aren't really great and that you never finished, right? It's way more impressive to be able to show somebody something that actually works and looks nice. Okay, so quality is, I think, more important than quantity here. So that would be my advice. I mean, personally, from having reviewed resumes to hire developers before, you know, I wasn't looking for, have you done 1 million projects? You know, I wanted to see, I could look at one project, and if it was a big project and it was good, like that's proof, right? So I would try, you know, like more than one would be good. I'm thinking like at least 3 would be nice, showcasing maybe some different skills. But don't go crazy with a lot of projects unless you have time to really do them well. Let's see. John Hansen says, when refactoring a function in React and refing state, written const a state equals this state, returns all states in component, returns only a state. Why? I am not sure. You know what? We ran into some issue with this recently in a previous stream. I'm not sure how to describe it and what language to use, but a similar thing just happened. So I'm sorry I can't explain why it happens like that. I got it to work and I never looked up why. So if anybody else knows, I guess, how to explain why that happens, please put it in the live chat. Let's see. Kendo says, how do we know when these live streams start? Probably, well, number one, subscribe to freeCodeCamp's YouTube channel, and make sure you turn on notifications. Occasionally, I do stream on my personal channel. There's a link in the description. If you subscribe to that, you know, you'll get notifications from that as well. You can also follow me on Twitter and or Instagram. I usually put I almost always notify everybody on both of those platforms before I do a stream. So those are the main ways to know whether or not I'm going to do a live stream. Tushar says, how to improve problem-solving skills? Do problems, right? Solve problems. Practice is definitely a way to do it. There are some techniques. So you could read up on techniques on how to solve like coding algorithm challenges and things. So it's like some systematic steps. So definitely try that. But I think the most important thing is practice. Try to do an algorithm challenge like once a day. Just start out your day with, an algorithm challenge, and make sure you get that practice in. Utku says, I just wanted to thank you for your time. Oh, you're welcome. I appreciate you saying that. M. Alvey says, are you front-end or back-end developer? Yeah, I don't know. I guess the most accurate right now would probably be full stack. If I do more front-end than back-end, and my official title is front-end, but it's not exactly accurate. Let's see. M. Alvey says Parcel versus Webpack. What build tool is good? I've never used Parcel. I use Webpack. I like Webpack. I don't mess with configuring Webpack myself though. I always use like the pre-configured stuff with either Create React App or Next.js, but I can't really comment on Parcel because I haven't used it. MLB says, what is your YouTube channel? Check the description of the video. I have a link to it in there. It's Jesse Weigel. If you look up Jesse Weigel on YouTube, it'll come up. Okay, Michael said that issue, so the issue that John Hansen was just talking about, it was on my last stream that I had that. Emre says, thanks for answering my questions. And which should I start? Simple JavaScript or JavaScript frameworks like React, Angular? What do you think? Which is best for me? Start with some simple JavaScript before you move into a framework. So you don't have to go crazy and learn everything, but it'd be good just to get some of the basics down, the syntax, and before you jump right into a framework. So, that's my advice. If you're going to start like taking on clients and stuff and you need to use a framework, then, go for it. It's not like it's going to really, hurt you as long as you continue to just keep learning as you go. ZX says, did you ever make voice activated programs like Sappy Speak? I did do an Amazon Alexa skill before. So that's kind of the only thing that I've done that's voice activated. And it was really basic. It was just like a trivia quiz. You could ask it to give you trivia. It was a trivia quiz with trivia from my hometown. So it would just give you a couple of different facts about my hometown. MLB says, should I use any CSS framework these days? It depends. Like if you're doing React, I really like Material UI. If you're just doing some plain JavaScript stuff or jQuery stuff, maybe you want to go with Bootstrap. If you like Material Design Style, go with Materialize. Some other good ones that I've never used but I heard are good are like Foundation. Trying to think what else. Actually, I can't remember. It's been a while since I've really worked with any of those. Yeah, but you don't have to use a CSS framework, but it definitely saves a lot of time. MLB says, how much JavaScript do I need to know to understand React? You definitely need at least the basics of JavaScript to understand React. So the more JavaScript you know, the better you're going to be with React. So you don't need to know everything, but you're definitely better off learning more. Okay, so Steven says, learn JavaScript first. I'm about to start React myself. I have a friend that is in a React bootcamp that knows no JavaScript and is struggling hard. Okay, yeah, you definitely want to know some of it. Michael says, no, I was making a joke. I don't know where that was at. When was that? I don't even remember what it was. Or you making a joke? Hey, JavaScripters here. What's up? Uh, M Albi says, is MERN good for 2018? So MERN is what? Mongo, Express, React, Node. Is that it? MongoDB. I think that's MERN. It stands for that. So yeah, I mean, I think MERN is still valid for sure. Let's see. Tushar says, do you also work with React Native? If yes, then with Expo or plain React Native? I've done both. I prefer using Expo because it's pretty easy to get it going on an actual phone, like and see the results. So I do like using Expo, but I have done both. Okay, so MLV says, yeah, MERN is Mongo, Express, React Node. So MongoDB for your database. Express is like a Node plugin to help run like your backend. With this Node being JavaScript running server side, and then React would be which you use to build your app and the stuff that the client sees, right? Let's see. MLB says, do you use Facebook? Yeah, I am on Facebook. If you want to follow me on Facebook, feel free. I just don't really ever post anything. Okay. All right, let's see what time it is. Oh, okay. Well, I just got to the end of the live chat, and I have to go to a meeting in a few minutes. So I'm going to finish up here. I don't know if I'm going to be able to stream until next week. So I guess have a great week, everyone. I'll try to give some updates on Twitter and Instagram from my conference. And yeah, so thank you all so much for joining me. All the discussion was really great. And yeah, so I'll miss y'all. Hopefully I get to interact with some of you on social media this upcoming week. But so until then, have a great day, have a great week, and thanks again.